The Schiff Show's back. You know, it's been a little while, but you knew he was coming back, for his encore. The guy who wished he was an actor, wished he was a producer. Now he's, in Congress. Hey, I guess sometimes things do work out. The problem is it's not working out for the country. Adam Schiff is a danger to the country. And now he's out continuing a narrative that somehow that anybody who supported Trump is actually possibly part of this terror effort, right? That's a problem. And it's a narrative that they're pushing over and over and over again. It's very coordinated alongside the media because they want to basically nip in the bud any kind of dissidence, any kind of pushback they get to Joe Biden's giant socialist authoritarian grab. Here's Adam Schiff on MSNBC. Watch.
At the same time, we ought to be able to find bipartisan common ground that the predominant terrorism threat facing the country right now is a domestic threat. And the predominant part of that domestic threat is the white nationalist threat. And that white nationalist threat also has international, transnational links as well. And we can't ignore that because of a political sensitivity that some of these folks are part of the Trump base.
Aha! They're part of the Trump base. It's those Trump people. Those people that actually believe in lower taxes and more freedom and individual rights. God help those people. They are a big problem for this country, right? This is what Adam Schiff wants you to believe. This is where they go to that race narrative, right? So if you don't believe in that race narrative, then you're part of the problem. Like, Tim Scott, the senator from South Carolina, whom they were calling Uncle Tim. I mean, this is messed up, dangerous stuff. And it's going to continue to be promoted constantly because it fits what they want to say right now. It helps to shut down the other side. And when in doubt, what do? They go back to the well and they just keep talking about January 6th. Here's Nancy Pelosi on and on about January 6th today.
I will never forgive those people and the president who instigated the insurrection for the trauma that they caused to the workers in the Capitol.
By the way, complete with the mask, right, on national television. Even though I have been in that very same place, you are quite a ways away from your camera person, okay? Let me just say there's a good amount of distance between Nancy Pelosi and anybody else around her there, and yet she's still got the mask. It's all about signaling. It's all about trying to convince you that you need to fall in line with what they want. And part of that means if you were a Trump supporter, if you are still a Trump supporter, then they consider you part of the problem. There's no belief in individual freedom. Certainly, we know that, right? It's we the government, not we the people. There's no belief in diversity of opinion. If you happen to be diverse, like Senator Scott, and you happen to actually say, wait a second, maybe America isn't that racist a place, they go after you. This is wrong. This is so utterly wrong. But she's out there going on about Capitol Hill, and she's going to keep going on. Whenever they're in doubt, they're just going to go back to that somehow any Trump supporter is a white nationalist terrorist. Give me a break. I mean, and let's talk about, by the way, the double standard in terms of how we deal with people that are creating problem-type riots. All right? I don't believe in going into Nancy Pelosi's office and messing up her desk and, storming through barricades of security. I'm not okay with that. You know that. I'm also not okay with riots that happen in places like Minneapolis or all over the country that we saw instigated by Black Lives Matter. Where, by the way, they'll actually tell you that it's okay to loot. It's okay to loot because somehow you deserve that. That's just a company. That's just a small business owner. Those business owners are bad, remember? Somehow that all gets excused while they keep going back to January 6th. January 6th. You think about some of the people that were involved in January 6th. There's a guy who just actually was released today. He's been held in jail since January 6th, a former firefighter who had done absolutely nothing wrong in his past. He was there, apparently, he says, egged on effectively by reporters when he was in Nancy Pelosi's office who encouraged him to go sit at her desk. And then they got the photo app. Julie Kelly over at American Greatness did a really good story on this, and I want to share an excerpt from her piece with you. Here it is. She says a local judge authorized Mr. Barnett's conditional release a week later. This was after the event on January 6th, but federal prosecutors, as they've done in many cases, immediately appealed to the chief judge of the D.C. District Court, which is handling every capital breach case, to deny Barnett's arrest. The judge sided with Justice Department and ordered Barnett, a retired firefighter with no criminal record, as I just told you, transported to Washington, D.C., where he remains incarcerated, awaiting trial next month. Well, guess what? He just got out. They just set the trial date. But whatever happened to all those people that looted, in the summer of last year, and then most recently throughout the country with these problems that have sprung up with the police? Whatever happened to those people? Did they go to jail for breaking windows, for stealing stuff? No, they didn't. They didn't, and they won't, because apparently there's a very different standard, right? If you're protesting, the system, so to speak, if you're protesting capitalism, if you're protesting against white police, well, that's all fine. That's fine. Nothing's going to happen, right? But, if you do this, and I'm not condoning it, not for 2 seconds. I don't think that they should have gone as far as they did. I would have been okay with the peaceful protest, just staying outside. It was the going into the Capitol that became an issue. And then the left is going to run with it, and run with it, and run with it, and run with it. But don't mention any riots in Minneapolis. No. That's not allowed.